Morning, Arsene. Can we start by getting your team news ahead of the weekend's game?
The team news are quite good because we have many players back into full training, and basically who is out at the moment of training are only Wiltshire and Cazorla. 23 players in training at the moment, so everybody's not competitive. For example, Welbeck still needs some training, but he is back in full training.
Does that mean Coquelin and Rosicky are back in contention for tomorrow?
Yeah.
How much of a boost will it be to have those two players back, especially Coquelin? What do you think he can add to the side?
Well, he gives us defensive stability in midfield, so he will compete with the players who play in this area, and overall, before he was injured, he had a very good spell in the team, and the results were good, so his defensive record was very good. So he's now in a position where he can compete again for his position.
Just finally from me, it's been quite a difficult month for Arsenal, but how important is it to get back to winning ways?
Well, you're right. We missed some wins where we were very close, and overall our number of points in January is not good enough for what we planned. So we are in a situation where we have to quickly come back to winning habits, and so let's start tomorrow.
Is Elneny likely to make his debut from Arsenal? And just tell Arsenal fans what you've seen from him training. Why they should be excited.
It's a possibility that I have a look at him tomorrow, and he's naturally a box-to-box player with a bit more maybe defensive-minded than a usual box-to-box player, so he can play in both positions, a bit more defensive in front of a defence, or really box-to-box. He has a good technique, good vision, good quick decision-making, and he's very mobile, very agile.
Just to ask you about a little bit of the fallout from last Sunday. Did you have to speak to Olivier Giroud at all this week and sort of explain why he was the one that was sacrificed? Was he okay with the decision?
Look, the players are not there to agree or disagree with the decision. They have to adapt and accept the decisions that are made, and all the rest we keep internal.
But he was okay with the decision, Olivier Giroud. He sort of accepted it and he's moved on.
Of course.
A lot of the post-match analysis picked up on the fact that Per Mertesacker seemed to be looking in a different direction when he made the tackle. Is that something that frustrates you?
Look, ideally I don't want anybody to make a mistake, but that's part of defending as well. You know, we were caught on a counter-attack, and we were of course in a bad position. The thing that it's easy, you have seen that many always to explain on the screen after the game or during the game. Anybody who understands a fraction of football can explain that, but when you stand down there on the football pitch, it happens all so quickly that if you caught a fraction of a moment in a bad position, it's impossible to correct, and that's what happens. You have to accept that and live with it, you know. We forget as well the number of times that, for example, Mertesacker saves a goal that didn't happen, and the risk is part of the game. And you have to feel comfortable with that. It's part of competition, and mistakes are as well sometimes part of a competition. But you learn from defeat, and the unfortunate thing is that we had not a bad performance on the day. We had a great spirit, a great team attitude, a great response, but we came out of a game feeling that we have not played the game because we are down to 10 men and 1-0 down, so it's of course very difficult.
I apologise for this next question because I know you've spoken about it a number of times, but what is the latest with Mathieu Debuchy? Are the talks still ongoing?
Yes, Mathieu Debuchy might go somewhere, but I don't know where at the moment, and of course that decision has to be made very quickly now because it's only 48 hours to go. He has much interest. but I have a number of people who can play right back, so I opened the door for him because at the moment he doesn't play and there's Bellerin in front.
Carl Jenkins is back, but probably not going to play any part for the rest of the season. Is that the case?
No, because he has a cruciate, and that rules him out for 6 months.
But he's back here and he'll continue his rehab with Arsenal. Yeah. In terms of any other players in, are you looking to do business in the next 3 days?
No, not at the moment, because as I told you just now, we have 23 players in training, and plus 2 is 25, and unless people go out, we are not on the verge of bringing anybody in.
There was a story linking you to Javi Hernandez, but that's wide of the mark, is it?
No, Welbeck coming back, now, and Sanchez is back. We have Giroud, Walcott, so you would not understand again why I don't play Giroud and play Hernandez, so we have the quality and the number of players that we need.
And just finally from me, obviously it's a season when any players that are looking to play in the European Championships are desperate to get game time. Kieran Gibbs is somebody that hasn't had too much game time. How's his attitude, and is he desperate to get back into the team?
He went through a period that was difficult for him, and now he's back with full power, full commitment, and he's very fit. And he will get games, Kieran Gibbs, and he's a quality player. There again is competition, and I understand what you say. Players have that target of a European Championship, but the first and the most important one is the club and the achievement with the club. And to be at the European Championship is always the consequence of what you do with the club.
How long do you hope Danny will take to get back to his best? Is it something that will have to be gradual over the course?
Yes, it has to be gradual. It has to go through under 21 game. There are steps. Danny has not played since April 2015. We are now in February, basically. So that is very long for a top-level competitor. And then that means you have to accept that it goes through small steps, and one of them is to play in the under-21 first 45 minutes, and he's basically fit, but now is to absorb the competition and the intensity of the competition. That becomes the next step for him.
Burnley are doing well this season in the Championship, hoping to get back into the Premier League. What do you know about what the game might be like at the weekend? Look,
I've seen them on Monday night beating Derby 4-1. And I realized when I watched them that all these players have played in the Premier League. I played against them, most of them. And they have Gray up front, who is very efficient. But you have players in there like Barton, Arfield, Boyd. They've all played in the Premier League. They have Volks up front with Gray. They have players. And we know as well what we have learned in the Premier League. If you look at the teams who came up from a championship, is not like 10 years ago. They compete at the right level, and we have learned something this season. We went to Sheffield Wednesday in the League Cup, and got quite a severe defeat. So we have to show that you have learned from that.
Does it please you, Arsene, as the longest-serving manager in English football, that Burnley are a club that have stuck with their manager even in the bad times, because they've been relegated under Sean Dyche, but he's still there?
Yes, because I like what he has done at this club, and I like as well the fact that in a period where it's always about news and change, people can stick to their values, and a club like Burnley, I think he did the maximum with the potential of his team. And let's not forget that what managing is about, When you manage today at Aston Villa, you cannot win the league. But the target of a manager is to get the best out of a team, and that's what he did.
And there was a report a few days ago concerning the European Clubs Association and possibly them putting pressure on UEFA to offer guaranteed places to the bigger clubs in European football in future, in the Champions League, the Milans, even the Arsenals perhaps. What are your thoughts on that? Should clubs have guaranteed places even if they don't finish in a qualifying position to get into the Champions League?
I think you guessed my answer, and this sport is based on merit and is one of a few areas in social life where it's down to merit. Even if you can even discuss that, because the ideal merit would give exactly the same amount of money to every single club in the Premier League, and let's go for it. You know what is not the case, but you cannot guarantee anything to any club, no matter how big the support is.
Thank you.
Do you feel like the Burnley game could be a potential banana skin?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have to be humble enough to accept that, and to think it's not because you turn up at the Emirates and play against Burnley that we will win the game. We have to produce to earn the right to go through this round and to qualify. And I think if we don't do that, we'll have a bad surprise.
With that in mind, is your intention, I know you're not going to tell us exactly, but is your intention to make many changes, give other players...
I will make some changes, not many. I will adapt to the difficulty. We spoke about El Neni. Maybe I will give him a chance to play. Coughlin, I have to think about it, you know, but I will play with a team, with a Premier League team.
Checking goal?
Ospina will play tomorrow. Czech will be on the bench.
Arsene, how are talks progressing over the transfers of the two Nigerian lads, Mukali and...
They're progressing well.
Do you expect that to be done this month?
Yes.
I think that Mukali's given an interview in Nigeria saying he thinks it's basically over the line, but are there work permit issues or...?
There are, yes, of course, there are work permit issues. There are medical issues because they have to make medicals, and but it's progressing well.
What is it about these two kids that you've seen?
Look, we identified Nwakali as the player of the tournament, basically, and as a top player, and we will see if we can manage to get it over the line through now, during this transfer period. We will do it.
And Chukwueze as well. Sorry, the other lad whose name I can't pronounce.
Yes, as well.
Okay. Can I ask you about your own contract situation, Arsene? You're into the final 18 months of your deal.
Well, 18 months, you know that 18 months today for a manager is an eternity.
But for you it's a little bit different, I think. I mean, are you envisaging staying beyond that? Have you had any talks about...
No, not at the moment. No, you know, I want to do... I'm completely focused on doing well, you know, and I want completely to give absolutely everything until the end of the season, and then go for the next season, hopefully.
Do you ever see yourself managing anywhere else, or when you're done at Arsenal, you're done?
Not really, no, because I completely commit to this club, and I don't imagine at the moment to manage anywhere else. Will I stop to work once I do not manage again really on a competitive level? No, I will always try to work if I have health and try to be useful at some stage, at some level. Maybe it will be a different level, but I will always work.
In a kind of director of football type role?
I don't know. You know, can be managing kids, developing young players, can be all kind of... but I will not run for the FIFA, you can write that.
Arsene, can I just ask one final question on Greg Dyke's decision to stand down, and whether you think he's done a good job? Will he be
Yeah, he has a strong personality, and I think he's honest, strong, and he wants to do things the way he sees it, and I spoke a few times with him, and I think I was quite surprised that he stopped. But I knew that, knowing his personality, I knew that that could happen some stage when he thinks he cannot push his ideas through, that he will stop.
But you don't want that job either. You don't want that job either, FA.
I don't want that job. I'm not qualified for that.